Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and it's time for a harsh reality for some of you out there that are not doing the critical thinking you need to do on a snake, on a viper like Bill Deep State Barr. There's going to be some hard truths here, but I was planning on doing this video a few days ago. As you guys know, I'm on the road. Not the best internet. Tried to do a Union of the Unwanted before, and that didn't work out. Hopefully this one's going to stream well. It's a little bit later. Maybe some better internet for us, less people on it, etc. The point being that Bill Barr is the cover-up crew. And when I saw an interview on ABC with him not only talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, the Epstein case, I really thought, well, we need to go over this because there's a lot here, okay? And I hope this one reaches like the hardcore MAGA crowd and they understand that this administration is completely compromised, okay? As great as you may think Trump is, Bill Barr is a CIA deep state operative bred, okay? That is what he is. He got his law degree while working, what? For the CIA. He worked for Kirkland and Ellis on behalf of Epstein back in 2009. That's right, when he got that sweetheart deal. Think about that. Let it sink in. We're going to go over that and so much more in this video. And you know what? When I saw the interview about Ghislaine Maxwell, I've been talking, well, this could be the cover-up crew in action. Let's find out what she knows, and then let's tie up some loose ends. And we're going to get into the judge, the assassination, the narrative that's being built around that, and the fact that, yeah, she was a judge in a separate Epstein case that involved a corrupt banking system, right? It's not just J.P. Morgan with their ships running big-time cocaine, billions in cocaine. It goes well beyond that. So thumbs this video up, subscribe and share. We're going deep. This one's going to be a while. I want to remind everybody, I'm 100% what? Demonetized on this platform. Can't make a living. Need your help more than ever. If you can hit the GoFundMe, $5, $10, $15, big donors, it means the world to me. It's not about left and right. This is about right and wrong, and we're going to hit it big time. So let's start it right now with this video. After I go over, I'm just going to show you this, okay? You have to understand that Bill Barr didn't recuse himself, but had talked about possibly recusing himself in this case. I think he wanted to get close. I think he wanted to tell us what? Epstein killed himself, right? He goes with that narrative, okay? He's the fixer. He's the cleanup crew. I mean, I don't know why you would trust Bill Barr when Bill Barr treats what? Julian Assange like a cyber terrorist. And we'll get into that at the very end, talking a little Roger Stone with everybody. Because I hope that's the one that really nail in the coffin for you MAGA crew. But before we even get there, I want people to understand that Bill Barr, before he was the youngest attorney general ever, okay, in there, what, under Bush 1, George Deep State Herbert Walker Bush, the HW, the guy behind the scenes of Reagan, the guy behind the scenes of the National Programs Office shadow government takeover with guys like Dick Cheney and Don Rumsfeld and Paul Wolfowitz back in the day. Go look into it. But I just want everybody to check out just a little bit about this. He was the guy that did the paperwork to pave the way for what? Taking their CIA asset or former CIA asset. Remember, Bill Deep State CIA Barr, okay, wrote up the paperwork to abduct Noriega, who never saw a day out of prison after that. You know who helped him with that? His buddy, Robert Mueller. Look into it, okay? So we're going hard and we're going deep, and I want to play this clip. We're going to break it up of him talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, and it doesn't give me warm fuzzies, guys.
I want to make sure I pronounce her name correctly. Ghislaine Maxwell is now in federal custody. Number one, can you ensure that she will make it to trial? Jeffrey Epstein died, suicide situation.
let's stop it there. Suicide situation. I had to say that. Even a hack reporter that is media, military, industrial complex all the way on script. Look at his face. Suicide situation. I can't keep my mouth. And we're going to look at a little of this body language of Barr for sure.
Are you locked in on this to make sure that doesn't happen, sir?
Yes.
Yes. As he blinks. And look, he looks very concerned. Yes, of course. Yeah, I understand how bad this looked. And now he can't help but laugh in a second. Watch.
Can you give me a sense of what you told?
Did you just see that? I mean, come on. How did this not get any play in the alternative media? I wonder why. I wonder why tomorrow's News Today doesn't cover stuff like this. Just saying. Did you see that man's face? He could hardly keep a straight face that they're going to make sure they keep her alive. And then he laughed about it. And this guy can't keep a straight face. It's a big fucking joke to them.
People in charge.
We have asked them to tell us specifically the protocols they're following, and we have a number of redundant systems to monitor the situation.
And how angry were you at the Jeffrey Epstein situation?
Let's stop. Watch his eyes. How do I answer this question? What's the scripted answer? I wasn't angry at all. So far, nobody's come for my head or anybody else's head that Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide twice. So let's hear his little scripted answer. Now he has to look off to the side and remember what he's supposed to say.
Oh, I was livid, obviously. I believe very strongly in that case, and I was very proud of the work done by the department, the Southern District, on that case. And as you will recall, after he committed suicide, I said that I was confident that we would continue to pursue this case vigorously and pursue anyone who was complicit in it.
So let's just stop there. So he looks to the side. He makes sure he doesn't talk about firing Jeffrey Berman or demanding him to step down. Again, I'm not saying Berman's the best guy. I'm saying there may be something else going on there. I can't trust the man behind me. Okay, he talks about vigorously pursuing this, and yet they knew where Maxwell was probably since the Daily Mail reported she was in Boston. Think about that, right? Everybody's talking about the possible tech beau husband. Where'd the money come from? How'd she buy it in cash? All right? So if the Daily Mail had a beat on it, you don't think the NSA, the FBI, Homeland Security, I mean, she had a phone wrapped in tinfoil. Come on, man. Like a garbage Faraday box. And I went out there. There was cell service right out in front of her driveway, just about nowhere else. Weird. They didn't know where she was? Of course they knew where she was. Okay? Yet, Zorro Ranch still ain't been raided, buddy. What's going on? And we know about the other cohorts. We know about Leslie Groff. We know about Sarah Kalin, right? Nadia Marcinkova comes to mind. They know. And this guy is given garbage answers to obfuscate. So, and I believe, right now what they're doing is they're figuring out where the loose ends are to tie up.
So I'm very happy that we were able to get Ms. Maxwell.
If there are other co-conspirators, are you coming for them?
If they've been involved, if they've been complicit in these crimes, yes.
If they've been, even then he's like, well, that one's a little tougher. Well, obviously, we're not going to do anything to any of the big name players. And you'll find that out next because they start talking about Prince Andrew. Okay? And he's like, Prince Andrew, well, come on, we're not really going to do anything to Prince Andrew. He's Prince Andrew. He's their arms dealer. He's the royal family. Don't you understand how this works? It's called rule by bloodline. It's called nepotism. It's called a predator class that is above the law. It's bull shizzle to say nobody's above the law. Is Santa Claus real? Is the Easter Bunny going to come knocking on my door? Let's be adults about this. There are people that are above the law. I hate when people say that.
And I see where the department wants to talk to Prince Andrew. Do you think it's appropriate, and do you want to talk to him?
Oh, we want to talk to him.
Definitely, the department wants to talk to Prince Andrew. That's why the Southern District has been making efforts to communicate and to arrange interview of him.
And if you could send a message to him, what would it say?
Well, I wouldn't send a message to him, but I think the department is communicating with him and made it clear that we'd like to interview him.
So that's about that. But you see, he's not going to send a message. He's not going to get tough guy with him. He knows how this works. He's Bill Deep State Barr. He's here to cover up for Prince Andrew, making $400+ billion deals with Saudi Arabia on arms. Huh? Remember that Iran-Contra scandal? Remember that? Good old Israel grabbing some weapons from Czechoslovakia and Poland, sending them down to the Contras? Huh? Right down there, boom, boom, boom. Then we send up all that cocaine for payment and deal it out on the streets? Huh? Remember that? That little debacle that people seem to forget about, that they think that stopped somehow? I mean, give me a break. All right, so now I want to talk about this. Let's get into it. For those that do not know, this was the report yesterday. The motives were unclear then when a woman who is Esther Salas, okay, who also happens to be what? The woman in charge of the Deutsche Bank investors sue over Epstein ties, stocks, and drops, okay? So Epstein involved in this case, dirty banking going on. She's the one that's going to oversee it. Now, I'm not saying, I want to get this right out of the way. I don't know what happened here. It's super suspicious. That's why we're reporting on it. Obviously, this tie is important. Again, if she was somebody that wasn't going to back down and they need to send a message to, what could possibly happen to send that message or just get rid of her? Let's talk about it.
In New Jersey, the FBI and other law enforcement agencies looking for a gunman who opened fire at the home of a federal judge, killing her son and badly wounding her husband. Judge Esther Salas was in another part of the home and not hurt. News 4's Gus Rosendale covering it for us today. He's been talking to neighbors in that North Brunswick neighborhood. Gus?
And David, I think you could say they are shocked, confused, in some cases a little bit scared as to what happened in what's normally a pretty quiet suburban area.
I mean, the mask zombiness is killing me alone. But, I think this is important because they're saying this person was dressed up like what? A delivery driver. And apparently she was in the basement. The son obviously didn't survive. 20 years old. Never going to get to live his life. Total tragedy. Scary. Very scary. Her husband may or may not survive. I hear he's in decent condition today. But let's continue.
I say normally, this is a very different scene here right now. Authorities still on scene over at the home where this happened. Authorities who say there are no current threats against this family, and so that means there's no obvious or apparent motive. We also have new video for you of the scene. This is Point of Woods Drive in North Brunswick, and it appears investigators have removed the doorbell and the front doorknob as they try to track down the suspect, who they believe was dressed as a delivery worker. And they say that person ran the doorbell 5 Sunday night at the home of Judge Esther Salas. Her husband, defense attorney Mark Andrel, opened that door and was shot at several times. He is in critical condition. The couple's 20-year-old son, Daniel, he tried to help his dad. He ran to the commotion, and he was shot and killed.
Just nuts. Just totally nuts. And apparently she was in the basement.
Salas was in the basement, we're told, and not hurt. And at this point, neighbors do not know why anyone would try to harm anyone in this family.
So let's stop it there. So here we are, and they say that the primary suspect in this shooting was found dead on, I think, the side of 17, right, at Roscoe. And I know where Roscoe is because I go to the Roscoe Diner a lot when I go down to New York City, because it's the way I get in over Treadwell. Any upstate New Yorker that takes that route will know. Now, this person, again, supposedly is some kind of lawyer. They're painting him up as a men's rights attorney that presented a case in front of her and made all these frivolous, weird lawsuits. Roy Del Hollander, who they say died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. What? So this happens. It looks assassination style. It looks directed. And then they have a suspect, and I would assume that suspect came from forensics off of the doorbell they took. And they find him on the side of a highway with a single gunshot wound in there. But, I mean, that's the narrative they're pushing, guys. Let's hear it.
As a young 20-year-old, it's so heartbreaking. What more do we know about the suspect tonight, Alexandra?
John, Roy Den Hollander, identified by police as an attorney, described himself as a men's rights attorney and as an anti-feminist activist. He had filed a chain of failed lawsuits, at first against Barrs for their ladies' nights, against the federal government for its Violence Against Women Act, even against Columbia University for its women's studies program. But most chillingly, he had crossed paths with Judge Sullis back in 2015. That's when he argued in front of her against the all-male military draft.
Let's just stop that. Think about it. This guy's holding on to something for 5 years. They've painted him up, and he's found dead on the side of the road, but he carried out what seems like, a real assassination. It'll be interesting to see what the father says, who survived, if he does survive. But I don't know. Let's just put this out there, guys. I'm not saying this is, going to happen, but you just lost your son. You just almost died yourself. Even if it's not the person they say it is, but they say you better identify it as that person, would you? Would you want to lose your life or your wife's life after something like that? I don't know. I can't tell you. It's a horrific situation to be in. But again, when we're dealing with people like Bill Barr, the cover-up crew, and Epstein doesn't kill himself twice, yet he endorses that he absolutely did kill himself through a perfect mix of screw-ups where there are no tapes. And now I want to hammer it home. For all you MAGA heads, for all you people that, loved the WikiLeaks before, right? When Trump was running, remember the WikiLeaks? Love the WikiLeaks, can't get enough of the WikiLeaks. Right? You got to realize that as bad as Roger Stone is, and as much as I don't like Roger Stone, there was no way he should have been convicted of what he was convicted for. I mean, we could talk about him being a snake and the godfather of lobbying and working for Nexium, but when you want to associate him with WikiLeaks and public disclosure organizations, that's done on purpose. Okay, so all you people that think, remember, Roger Stone's out there obviously lobbying for President Trump after his sentence has been commuted. Now, this was done before it was commuted, and you will hear what Bill Barr has to say about Roger Stone, and I assure you, it is nothing good. And he backs up that this is the right kind of sentence. Again, paving the way for the extradition of Julian Assange. All this interconnects, and all of it is very important. So let's hear what Bill Barr has to say about Roger Stone.
Mr. Stone is scheduled to report to prison, I believe, next week, July 13th or 14th. You said earlier in a previous interview that it was a righteous prosecution. You still believe that?
Yes, he was prosecuted while I was Attorney General. I think the prosecution was righteous, and I think the sentence that the judge ultimately gave was fair.
So, again, righteous prosecution. He's a bad guy. He did bad things. Russia, or, again, the ironic thing is this guy here, right? He claims that it's proven that there was no Russian collusion. He knows that. But at the same breath, he needs to, go after Stone, right? Demonize his activity with WikiLeaks, who people believe are agents of Russia. Is this not doublespeak to you? Do you not get this? And I'm not saying he has to like the guy, but he's talking, again, I don't like Roger Stone. But he's talking as though it was my department that did it. And we're good. And he got the right sentence.
You recall I objected to a 7 to 9 year sentence, which I thought was very excessive. And the judge ended up, I think, effectively agreeing with me and gave him a sentence of 3 years. And
so 3
months.
years, that's prison time that he should get for these crimes. The president tweeted something this weekend about pardoning him. It's a possibility he might commute the sentence. Do you recommend that he do that? And will you care if he commutes or pardons?
Well,
So let's break it down. This is in stark contrast to what we just saw about Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Very, very stark contrast. There you could see Bill Barr was kind of uncomfortable. Both of them had the inside joke. They're laughing, right? All that stuff is there. He's memorizing things he's supposed to say. He's not sending any message to Prince Andrew, etc. Oh, we're in communication and we're going to get that interview. I'm sure you are, Bill. I'm sure you are. But now you're going to see actually the real Bill Barr, because he doesn't like Roger Stone. Okay? And he wants to set that precedent to bring Assange over.
I think it's the president's prerogative. It's a unique power that the president has, and it's certainly something that is committed to his judgment. But as I say, I felt it was a appropriate prosecution, and I thought the sentence was fair.
Right. I think you said you're no fan.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Well, that's accurate.
There you go. That's accurate. He's no fan of Roger. Oh, look at that. Did I say that? That's accurate. Yeah, I don't like him. So all you MAGA heads out there, man, you better get with it. Oh, thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. It is the 20th. We got about, 11 more days. Guys, I'm on the road. I need your help now more than ever. I'd love to at least crack the $3,000 mark this week. Again, we're on the road. I'm bailing from Kansas City. If you don't know, they just did a mandatory mask order in the city. The mayor went after it. I don't know if that's on the Missouri end or not, but I got to tell you, where I've been already, I'm done. I'm out of this end. I think I'm going to go back over towards St. Louis, where I was at before. I really enjoyed it there. And then I'm going to make some more decisions, I really enjoyed Iowa. I can't thank Pat Miletich enough. I had a blast at the Clash of Legends. It was great to be amongst people. Had a beer, had some conversations, shook some hands. It was great. You can support me over on Rockfin as well. Remember to thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. Join the Burmese Brigade. I'm trying to do it on the road, guys. This is a hotel. This is a Ghetto Fabulous setup right here. And you can see that Ghetto Fabulous setup right here on Twitter. Remember, all my documentary films are free. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, must watch if you don't understand 9/11. Okay? Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture if you want to know more about the real deep state, how it's not about left or right? It's about right and wrong. I love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.